Hello, I'm Dr. Larry Carnes, and welcome to Books of the Month. We're so glad that you could join us for another powerful and exciting episode, and we have a very special guest with us today. Lyle, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing great, thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you. Do this for us. Introduce yourself to our viewing audience. Tell them a little bit about who you are.
Well, I've had a pretty fulfilled life. I'm 88 now, but I've been an attorney for 63 years, specializing in helping people be successful in whatever they want to do. I've been national president of the American Humanist Association. My successor was Isaac Asimov, who published 480 books. And even the author or the person that's behind the book that I've written was a strong member of that organization. Uh, I've taught the same subject at Drake University, and anyway, I'm fit to go.
All right, sir. So now, Fully Human, Fully Alive, fourth edition, delves into some of life's most profound questions, providing a comprehensive exploration from a humanist from a humanist standpoint. Now, you say something here. The book seeks to address timeless queries such as why are we here? How do we face our own mortality? Why do we need others? How can we make our lives meaningful? Speak to us about this book that you've written and give us some insights into your book.
Here's what the book looks like, and it's based on Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. He was a psychology professor, and he discovered that we live on one of six different levels, depending upon a whole series of things that we can talk about a little later. The problem is that 70% of all Americans are locked on the third level, the social level. And these people never realize there's three levels above them that would significantly enhance the quality of their life if they simply knew it existed. So, what the book does is help you build bridges over the barriers that are keeping you from getting there so that hopefully you can get to the top. Less than 1% of our society really ever gets to become fully alive. But the advantage of getting there is that it gives you a fulfilled existence that you hadn't even thought about before. And you really feel great about your life at that point.
Okay, so you're talking about uncovering and discovering a higher dimension of self awareness and discovering a life that everyone has available that they can live. In your book, I noticed here's something that I looked at chapter one. It says, what is humanism? Talk to us about that.
Well, humanism is certainly not a religion. There are humanists within all faith groups. What humanism is accepting the responsibility for your own life, taking control of your life for yourself. You have to be able to do that and able to grow. Otherwise, other people are controlling your life for you. And humanism is actually a philosophy that was created about 2,600 years ago, but it's relatively new within our culture. And yet, it's what led to the Renaissance in Florence, Italy, way back in the 1400s. It's it's helped people live much better lives because you take control of your own life for yourself.
I noticed as I was researching your book, you talked about the philosophical and psychological impacts of it. Talk
Yes.
to us about that a bit. I found that quite interesting.
Well, philosophically, it's taking control of yourself. Psychologically, it's not allowing barriers to keep you from being able to grow. One problem we have as humans is that we get hit with all kinds of information constantly. And so we have self protection mechanisms within ourselves. And so when you get a belief, for instance, whatever that belief might be, anything that attacks that belief, you don't see because
Mm.
this control mechanism called a scotoma within yourself keeps you from seeing it. So, in order to be able to get around whatever it is that's blocking you, you have to be able to build a bridge over that scotoma so that you can accept new information so you can learn and grow. And what the book does is help you build those bridges.
What would be some factors, some keys in your book, just a little bit that you share with those who will purchase the book that will assist them in overcoming those barriers? I'm sensing something like self-imposed institutionalization, where people institutionalize themselves, and that's something that's preventing them from growing.
That's that's true. Well, there's all kinds of barriers within us. They may be caused by your school teacher in kindergarten or whatever. The problem is that once you have that barrier, you can't see a way around it. And one area within religion itself that causes a barrier for a lot of people is when your minister or your priest talks about heaven and hell and that they hold the ticket for you to get there. Well, that's pretty significant. And so, if anything touches on that subject, you get emotional about it and you block it. The book gives you enough information, even in the area of religion, to show you that where some of the beliefs that you have are simply beliefs, they're not factually related. I've been to Israel 3 times just to check out the facts that I even talk about. And it's exciting because once you then realize that there's more to life than simply the little belief you have, it opens new doors for you and it helps you grow beyond them.
Okay. Now you mentioned you've been to Israel on 3 occasions. As you journeyed to Israel, did you uncover and discover anything significant that helped you to substantiate your thoughts, your beliefs as you wrote the book?
Yes, now keep in mind, Israel is a pretty small country.
Yes.
It's really only about 60 miles wide, and the inhabitable portion's about 150 miles long. Today, it's got over 8 million people living in there. I spent my first time I was there for 2 weeks. Well, in 2 weeks, it's something that small, you can see everything. And and I did. And a good example, if you don't mind me giving you one, uh, we look upon Calvary as a grassy hillside and Jesus carrying the cross up the hill. None of that's true. If you're in Jerusalem and you look around yourself, there are no grassy hillsides. You're on the edge of a desert. What there is a rock. They call it Golgotha, which means skull. It's
Mm-hmm.
about 17 feet high. The top of it's flat, but it's about 50 feet across. And the posts were permanent. In fact, I've even put my hand in the post holes. Jesus didn't carry the cross. He carried the cross member because that's how they put you on top of the post. The real problem is he died on a T. It really wasn't even a cross. We think it's a cross, however, because this is written in the Greek language. In the Greek language, the letter ta has an upla on top, so it looks like a cross. So our culture has adopted that as the symbol for Christianity. Now, is there anything wrong with that? I don't think so. But the facts are different than what our current beliefs are. It doesn't make any difference because it's a symbol. But that's just one little example. I can give you a dozen of those, but we obviously don't have the time now. But in the book, I do discuss a lot of these things.
Okay, yeah, yeah, okay. So you talk about the symbolism, and that's powerful because you're just giving information that many people don't know, we're not aware of. That's insightful. And I'm looking here about a philosophy of humanism. I looked at that. I said, okay, a philosophy of humanism. Talk to us about that.
What humanism is based upon the Epicurean philosophy that was in about, well, 2,600 years ago. Epicurus had the notion that instead of people being controlling you, you take control of your own life and you do those things that add benefit to the quality of your own life. Back at the time when the Renaissance occurred, frankly, I'm certainly not anti Catholic by any means, but the Catholic Church controlled what people believed. back then. And when this philosophy of Epicurus was discovered by the Medici family, they adopted it locally as their culture, where people took totally charge for themselves. A good example back then is that almost all people were controlled by kings, and kings were appointed by the priests because the authority to be the king came from God. Florence didn't do that. They elected their own mayor. They had a council of people that were within the community that directed what the mayor did, but the people controlled. And frankly, we have our American Constitution today because of that kind of thinking.
Mm.
And I can give you the history of that too. But anyway, and so when you look at things from a philosophical perspective, what you're doing is you're putting it into a pattern or a system of thinking.
Okay.
And humanism is one, but I really like it because of the quality of the people that I've gotten to know personally. Uh, Carl Sagan, the astronomer that created the Cosmos series in television, Gene Roddenberry that created Star Trek. All of these people are humanists, and they were taking control of their own life and helping other people get to the same point. Uh, Betty Friedan created the Now Organization of Women. Gloria Steinem, her successor, is a beautiful person. Uh, Bill Nye the Science Guy. These are all people that I've known personally because they're all humanists and they've all been within that organization. And I've been an officer of that organization for 50 years now.
Wow, that's quite a long time. Quite a long time. We have a minute and 40 seconds left. I want you to do this for us. Disseminate any contact information that you may want our viewing audience to have, be that website, email, where
Oh,
they can go and purchase the book.
okay. Yes, I certainly have that. If you go on into your computer and you go to my website, www.lylesimpson, Lyle Simpson, Simpson.com, I'll show up. And in there, you find not only an explanation of my book, but in the author section, one of my publishers put my resume that my law firm I give a third of my time, professional time, to society one way or another where I think I can make a benefit. Well, my law firm required that I keep a resume so that when they do their conflict checks so they don't sue somebody, they don't wind up suing an organization only to find I've been in their board so they're disqualified. So I've been keeping that resume my entire practice. It's
Okay.
it's now almost 19 pages. Anyway, they put all of that in the website. So you certainly know who I am when you get done. But the point is, everything in there is designed to help people have a better life for themselves.
10
Frank,
seconds.
that gives you what it does. It gives you a form of immortality that we know for sure exists because what you've done lives on long after you.
Thank you. I mean, such valuable information, lots of information. We want to thank you so much for being our guest today. I'm Dr. Larry Carnes. We've had a very special guest with us, Mr. Lyle Simpson. Listen, you can purchase his book on Amazon. Mr. Simpson, thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. Don't go any place. We're going to take a break and then we'll be right back.